Welcome back, Hive Mind. This is Shalazar with Hive Mind Gaming, coming at you with another Kickstarter video. So basically what we're going to take a look at today is Zombicide Undead or Alive. We're going to take a look at expansions slash add-ons, see if they're worth it, and to see what they actually bring to the game. So whether you pledged for $1 or $10 just to keep up with the Kickstarter to get all of its emails and updates so you can follow along, or if you pledged $100 for just the base game and all explicit stretch goals and the exclusive Billy the Kid Survivor, or if you went for the $140 pledge for the steampunk add-on, or if you went all in for all the gameplay add-ons, not all of the add-ons, but all the gameplay add-ons for $240. So no matter what you did, we're going to take a look at what the rules are that are bringing these new expansions slash add-ons into the game, and if they're going to be worth it. So the first thing we want to take a look at is the gears and guns. Now this is the one thing, well, one of two things that I begged for when I saw that they were coming out with a Western themed Zombicide, is a steampunk Zombicide add-on, or at least just steampunk being a part of it. In my opinion, this is what it should. This should be the theme of the whole Kickstarter. It should be a Western steampunk-ish Zombicide, and that, just my opinion. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that disagree. I see why they separated the two. So if someone is diehard just Western theme, they can do that. If someone's diehard steampunk, they can do that. Or you can intermix the two. So for goofballs like me that love the idea of mixing the two together. So what does Gears and Guns bring to the table? Well, one, it's a campaign setting. So if anyone backed or followed Zombicide Modern 2.2 or 2.0 or whatever, the second edition of Zombicide Modern, there was a campaign setting that you could buy in there. Again, this is one of my pet peeves. This is something that should already be a part of the primary box. This campaign setting should be an option that's already in the main box. The rule set should already be there. The optional play value, like this should be the primary playthrough of the game. And then the optional one should be just a random, you just pull a random encounter and then you play a one-off with your buddies. But the playthrough campaign should be the primary focus of the game in the core box. This is very irritating for me. But either way, if you want to play in the campaign, and the way they do it seems really neat, then you'll want to buy this expansion. So it does come with 10 survivors, and by 10 I mean 19. And because I say 19, because it comes with 10 in this box. But if you back it on Kickstarter, which at this point you should still be able to, because I'm recording this right at the end of the campaign and they always do late pledges. If you back it through Kickstarter, you get the 10 in the core box, but you also get the 9 that were unlocked through stretch goals. So it's 9 more survivors. Some of them look really cool. The guy in the wheelchair from the Wild Wild West movie with Will Smith, fabulous. Marty McFly, Doc, they're all in there. It comes also with 2 extra special Kickstarter exclusive cards, equipment cards, things like that. So check that out on their website. But cool, 19. So if you pay for the expansion on the Kickstarter, you're going to get 19 more survivors, 2 Kickstarter exclusive equipment cards, and then it comes with 1 Steam Monster Abomination. So the Steam Monster Abomination has to do with the actual steampunk scenario. So basically there's a new room where it has steam power, and it goes along with the whole campaign concept of the steam power. It builds up steam. As you're building up steam, you can go there and release that. You can turn it off. You can also refill your steam power equipment in those locations, things like that. Well, this abomination is a former engineer that was turned into an abomination, and he still has a little bit of his consciousness of what needs to happen, and he knows that humies, the warm-blooded, the people with the brains that he wants to eat, need the equipment to get better. So his concept is, or his game mechanic is, he goes around destroying these steam-powered locations. So if he's in a location, his mechanic is, if he's in one of those locations that has the steam port, he will destroy it, therefore causing you not to be able to fix it, repair it, or turn it off, or use it in any way. And it builds up pressure to basically lose you the scenario. So make you lose the scenario. So he's bad news. He's absolutely bad news. Yeah. So abominations with some kind of brain is not good. So some of the other stuff that it comes with a campaign sheet notepad. So this is going to be something that you're going to use by giving each player one, or each character one. So if a player is playing multiple characters, or you're playing solo with multiple characters. So this will tell you all your experience, as helps you track your experience, and if you go up levels, gives you the option to choose other abilities that are in addition to the things that are already on your card, so you can get more abilities throughout the campaign, things like that. It comes with a new set of dice called the Steam Dice, which we'll go over shortly. This is going to make a difference in some instances. It also comes with more equipment cards that are steam-powered equipment cards. Objective cards, so this is going to be something new that's added to the game, and this is part of the campaign stuff where it gives your characters actual objectives to do beside just running the scenario that's in the book. So kind of neat there. And then it comes with a steam gauge. This is that part where I was telling you where the steam builds up, and it continuously goes up until it hits red and blows up. So, and something that causes that to happen is those little steam areas building up pressure. So one of the ways to do that is turn them off. But if that abomination gets to them first, he'll just destroy them, causing the pressure to build up even more. So yeah, so bad stuff can happen when they blow. And then of course it comes with new tiles that are specific to this expansion. Now, so it's $40 extra for this expansion. Now, is it going to be worth the money? Well, if you do it on Kickstarter, I would say yes, because 19 more survivors, plus the abomination, plus all the extra tiles, the cards, the gameplay value alone, I think would be a huge bonus to a different way of playing Zombicide. And it's really irritating. I mean, it's not like I ranted about this like 10 seconds ago, but I'm going to say it again. It's freaking irritating. Put this in the core box for cripes sakes, and that would be Jesus cripes. But anyway, put it in the core box. This is absolutely frustrating. All right, I'm over it. Let's move on. All right, so I think for $40 extra, I definitely think it's well worth the money. So here's a closer look at the different stuff you can do as you gain XP. This is campaign XP. As you gain the campaign XP, which is obviously takes longer than a normal game, then you can when you get to these milestones, you can choose to get a basic action, which is over here, or a bonus action, which is over here, or you can get an additional skill that you can use as well. So lots of cool concepts with this. The objectives are really neat. I love the objective idea where you actually have different objectives to do within the scenarios. And then they've got its own equipment. So the equipment card is basically just like the other one with a couple extra bonuses. One, it has a little lock in the corner up here, and I'll explain that in just a moment. And then it's got these little gauges on the top of some of these items. Now, what the gauges mean is that it is a steam-powered weapon, for one, but two, it also means if it's full steam, then it gets these bonuses. Now, what does full steam mean? Full steam is the ability of the new class, which is the engineer. So, like the other classes in Zombicide Undead or Alive, there are 4 new classes, which I'm shocked that this is the only other one. I truly expected there to be around 2 to 3 more that you could get either through stretch goals and or add-ons. Color me shocked that there's only 1 extra. But anyway, it's the engineer, and the engineer's special ability, once per activation, you may spend 1 action and deplete a steam weapon from the inventory to refill another steam weapon in your inventory. Full steam is +1 die combat. Which brings us back to our machete. So when it's at full steam, so basically I have, let's say, I don't know, a pistol, a steampunk pistol in my inventory. So I deplete it. That's either tap it, turn it around, any way you guys decide you want to do to show that it's depleted. You don't get rid of it, you just tap it. And it shows that you get 1 die. It will always give you an extra die, so all your weapons will have the +1 die. Show that it's at full steam. And then you will also have typically you'll have some other bonus as well. Like for the machete, that it now will hit on a 2+. If we go down here to the bounty weapon, because there are bounty weapons that are steampunk weapons as well, and you see that they work the exact same way. There's ways to do it, plus there's also, you can earn them through scenarios. But it has the +1, and it also has an additional range as well, if it's at full steam. So actually really cool concept. I love it. I think it's fantastic. So as you find weapons, they're already considered fully steamed or full steam, whatever. And then as you use them, the extra die that you get when they're full steam is going to be the steam dice. So you use them just like you would use any other dice, except that the 1 is this symbol right here, which is the depleted symbol. Soon as you use a weapon and you roll the depleted symbol, that weapon becomes useless. You can't use it. It becomes depleted until you either, as an engineer, charge it up with their engineer ability, or you go to one of the ports that I mentioned before on the map, and you can turn the valve on to recharge a steampunk weapon. Now be careful with those ports on the map, though. They're very fragile, and as your turn goes up, this starts going up. The steam starts building, and as you get to these pressures, then once you get to 20, then it explodes. So one of the ways to do that is by turning valves on and off. If a valve is open, it creates a steam jet that does 1 damage to any survivor in its path, but doesn't affect zombies. It also blocks line of sight. So my guess is there's going to be scenarios where the path out is past these steam jets, and you've got to turn the valves off to get past it, or take damage, whatever the case may be, to get past it. But once the steam builds up to a certain pressure, game over. Game over, man. Game over. So, yeah, anyone can refill a weapon at those ports, but the engineer class can actually do it by using another depleted weapon. So you can keep firing with a cool weapon, or keep attacking with a cool weapon, getting the extra bonuses. When it's depleted, the engineer in the group can feed another steam weapon to it to keep it going, and then once you get to a port, you refill all your weapons. So kind of neat. It becomes like an ammo resource, and yeah, interesting. So there's also new inventions. It doesn't really explain a lot about the inventions. My guess it's something that the engineers can do or make or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't give a lot of information, but they seem kind of neat. So one other thing that I want to go over is this little lock in the corner. So because it's a campaign setting, and because you're finding all these cool equipment cards every single game, the way that it sets it up so that you can keep equipment cards is whatever that number is in that lock. If you find an item throughout the game, during a game, you roll that many Steam dice, and if you roll any depleted symbols, you lose it. If you manage to roll all your dice without rolling a depleted symbol, you get to keep that weapon from then on. So, actually kind of neat. I kind of dig it. As you can see, bounty weapons don't have a lock, so you can't keep those from game to game, but normal weapons and inventions do. As you can see, this machete has a 6, so rolling 6 dice, there's a good chance you're going to roll a depleted symbol, but you never know. But kind of neat. I dig that. Again, is it worth it? Yes. I truly believe that it's worth it to buy this expansion. For what you get and the gameplay value that it will add. I can't imagine playing Zombicide any other way after getting that expansion, to be honest, in my opinion. So that takes us to the next expansion / add-on. This would be an add-on, and that's the metal Steam dice. There's no other way to get another set of Steam dice. If you're like me and you hate passing dice in a large group of people, if I've got 6 smelly guys sitting around the table. First, if you have 6 smelly guys sitting around your table, you should probably find better friends that like to take a bath. Just an opinion. Take it or leave it. Anyway, so your metal Steam dice, I'm not a huge fan of metal dice. I'm really not. They tend to destroy whatever you're rolling them on. So if you're going to get the Steam dice, I would suggest a dice tower of some kind, or you're going to destroy whatever you're rolling them on. So good luck with that. But it's the only way to get an additional set of dice. Now, can you just roll basic D6s when you have to make your Steam dice roll? And if you roll a 1, that's a depleted? Yeah, absolutely you can. But if you want to be able to roll dice for what they are with the whole feel of the game, you're going to want to buy the $16 metal Steam dice. For me, $16 for a 6 dice, kind of big. That's big money. But let's face it, there's going to be people paying over $50 for these frickin' dice on eBay. after the game comes out. I mean, we all know it. I mean, we can complain about the third-party market all we want, but let's face it, it's gonna happen. I mean, if someone wants them bad enough, they're gonna pay that price. So, if you're that guy that refuses to pay that price, good for you. If you're gonna want those dice, get them now, because you will pay that price if you want them at a later time. So, not something I think that is worth it, though, in my opinion. All right, so next we've got the wooden dice. These are really cool. $10, not a bad deal. My only issue, and this has always been my issue with the Zombicide dice, no matter what series it is, my biggest issue with Zombicide dice is that it has some kind of explosive on one side and then a zombie head on the other. One's on the one side and one's on the 6 side. And I hate that. I absolutely hate it. Put it on one side or the other. I mean, even if I had 3 dice that had zombie heads, 3 dice that had the dynamite, I would be down. I would buy these. As of right now, probably not. Just because it annoys me to have the 1 and the 6 at different angles or different sides. Because, I mean, depending on who gets it, it's like, well, I mean, I know when you buy them, it says the zombie head is for the 1 and the dynamite stick is for the 6, and that makes sense. But in past games, the zombie head was the 6 and the explosive was the 1, which made no sense to me. So I don't know. It's just annoying. Very, very annoying. But now the fact that it's wooden, they're wooden dice, really cool. The fact that the pips are playing card icons, absolutely fantastic. Love it. I think it's very thematic and I just love it. I love the wooden dice. Hate the zombie head and dynamite on both sides. Absolutely hate it. Will it stop me from buying them? Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. All right. So, I mean, you'll have to make that choice. Theme or zombie head dynamite aside, is the 6 dice worth $10? Probably. Again, these will definitely be going on eBay for probably $20. You know, so if you want them now, get them now. If you think you might, to be honest, I'm on the fence. If I'm on the fence, I might as well get them, because if I'm on the fence, then I'll regret it, and then if I want them later, I'm gonna pay a unbelievable and unwanted price for them. So, anyway, that's up to you guys on what you guys think on that. All right, so next is the Western tile set. Unless you have plans of running some convention game or a game with like a lot of people, 12 people or so, this is not worth it. It's the exact same tiles that come in your base game, so it's nothing different. If you're a person that likes to write your own scenarios, again, unless you're writing a huge scenario, you still have the tiles from the base game. So I don't think this is worth it. I've never bought the extra tiles, but I do know that there's a lot of people out there that like them. And if you're one of those people that pay or that build your own scenarios and things, then this is absolutely something you'll probably want. So, and I think you should do it, because I mean, $20 for the extra tiles is not a horrible deal, but for me, I would never use them. It would just be a waste of $20. All right. And here's another thing that would be a waste of $25 is the extra player upgrade set. You are going to get enough of this for 6 players in the base game. So you're going to get all of this in the base game anyway. So the only reason to buy this is if you plan on, one, running multiple games. So like if you do demos at a store or something, and you want to be able to run multiple games at the same time, this would be something you would want to do. Or if, like mentioned before, you plan on running a huge game with more than 6 players, then this is definitely something you want to pick up. Other than that, you don't need it. So if you're just a person that wants to buy this game for your gaming group that's 6 players or less large, this is not something you'll want to add. This is not extra money you're going to want to spend. All right, next is the Running Wild expansion. This is probably the expansion that I was most excited about, other than the Steampunk. Steampunk was definitely number 1. But this had the second thing that I begged for when I first heard about this, and that was a dead horse. Because this is the 4th iteration of Zombicide. Anyway, you guys get the joke. Anyway, I think they even make the joke in their explanation of how this abomination works. So the cool part about this, it comes with 6 survivors, all mounted on horseback, and then those same survivors all on foot. So basically how it works, so they start the game on horseback, and should they ever decide to go into a building, they have to get off their horse. And when they get off their horse, they leave this little horsey token behind. And that horsey token is there, and it is very edible by the zombies. So zombies still want to eat them. So they become a target for the zombies as well. But for the most part, it just adds extra movement and extra abilities for these 6 survivors. 7 counting the Mother Superior lady that comes on the donkey. For the Kickstarter exclusive for picking this up. So this is $30. And for $30, you get 7 counting the Mother Superior, 7 mounted units, 7 survivors on foot, and then 1 dead horse abomination, and then a bunch of horse tokens. The horse tokens I'm very disappointed in. Very, very disappointed in. The dead horse abomination is kind of disgusting. When it is around other zombies, it drives them into a frenzy, causing them to do an additional wound than they would normally do. So if a zombie normally does 1 wound, it will now attack for 2 damage. If it normally does 2 damage, it will now attack for 3 damage, etc. So it's pretty gross. I mean, that's pretty disgusting for an abomination. So I like it. I really do. I think that's a cool ability, and definitely a new ability compared to a lot of the other abominations that we've seen throughout all the other iterations of Zombicide. So, but while these guys are mounted, while these survivors are mounted, they basically get a movement adjustment, which makes sense, obviously. And they also get bonuses toward their attack, things like that, either through range or better to hit or something like that. So each one has a different thing. So kind of neat, because each one's their own specialist in riding horses, I guess. So they get their own special abilities, I guess, is how they're doing it. So the way this is written, it sounds like it's written to where anyone can jump on the horses and they get a plus to their movement and a plus to their skills, while the 6 individual survivors that come in the box set, 7 counting Mother Superior, get some kind of specialized blue level skill that goes along with their riding abilities. So they get extra abilities based on their being mounted kind of thing. So $30 for this extra expansion and how it works. It brings a new aspect to the game. Is it something that could have been added to the game originally? Yeah, especially since they only did tokens for the horses. I mean, they didn't even have to do mounted. Since they did tokens for the horses, they could have easily just done the characters walking and just not even done mounted miniatures. And the mounted miniatures could have been an add-on for like $10, I don't know, $15, and just had this part of the base game. I just see, this is the thing that kills me. It's just like, this is something that could have been a part of the core box, and not even been a thing. I don't know. It's kind of dumb. You don't really think of Westerns without having a horse. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, all Westerns have horses in them. You're never going to see a Western that doesn't have a horse somewhere in it. It's just annoying. How annoying. Which is going to bring us to our next add-on. So if you really don't like those tokens and you want something physical instead, you can always get these horse miniatures. $15 for 6 horse miniatures. I don't know. I mean, if you run a D&D group and you want mounted horses, I mean, they're not really fantasy based, but I mean, it's not going to be a lot of differences. It could stand in for a fantasy horse, a mounted fantasy horse. So, I mean, that would be something to use it for, or if you have some kind of Western role-playing game, or even a sci-fi or even zombie apocalypse game. There's a few out there that are actual zombie apocalypse war games out there. These would be pretty good miniatures as well for a modern style game as well. So anyway, if you're okay with the tokens, though, this is not extra money you need to spend. If you're someone who wants everything to be a miniature, then you'll want to spend this extra $15. So just throwing that out there. But it's really up to you. Are 6 miniatures worth $15? I don't think so. No. I mean, if they were $10, if it was a $10 pack, I would be down. I think it would be a great price. $15. And yeah, I know. And you guys are going to tell me that, I mean, someone's going to pay double that after it comes out, but still, that's just, I don't know. Tokens are fine for me. So next we got the DEADSTOCK Abomination pack. So this is just going to be a pack of 4 abominations, which is going to be a minotaur looking thing, a bison, a bear, and a bull. I really like the idea of the bison abomination. I don't know why, but it just makes me smile. The bear one, not a big, huge surprise, because there's always bears in Western style movies. So the bison, its ability is it wounds anyone in the zone that it moves into. So it has a thing about trampling people. So it likes to trample. So so as soon as it moves into a zone, you instantly take a wound. So, which is pretty gross. I mean, pretty disgusting. He looks really cool. I actually dig it. I mean, that's one thing you can't really say about some of these. I don't know if I like the turtle shell on his back, but I mean, other than that, he looks pretty cool. Let's see. Then you've got the Blood Bull. So the Blood Bull's ability is as soon as it can see a survivor, it will charge 3 zones per activation. So my guess, it's going to have multiple activations, and anytime it can actually see a survivor, it will charge 3 zones toward that survivor. That's pretty gross. So that means he's going to be in the same zone as you if he sees you. If he's got more than a couple actions, because, yeah, that's gross. He looks pretty cool, too. I dig him. All right, and then we've got the Texas Deadhorn. Oh, nice. So a little play on the Texas Longhorn. Good. So the Texas Deadhorn ability, it basically describes it as he protects all other zombies in his zone. So my guess, he's going to be #1 priority. So basically, to kill other things in the zone, you might have to always attack him first, even if you're in melee. So attack, or maybe, because the way it's written that with his bulk and hardened skin, he shelters itself and other zombies in its zone. Without the proper weapons, it would be unwise to grab this bull by its horn. So, I mean, the way it's written, it could be a situation of you always have to, anything in his zone has to be killed with a strength 3 weapon, maybe? I don't know. Or you always have to target him first before anything else. So either one of those would be a very disgusting ability of the Texas Deadhorn. So, oh, that looks gruesome. Looks gruesome. All right. So next is the Abomibear. Da Abomibear. All right. So other than having some really unbearable puns while describing its ability, the Abomibear is pretty gross. So the Abomibear, every time his location that he's standing in is attacked, he gets an additional activation. Gross! That is gross, guys. That is not okay. That is not okay. So if you're killing other stuff in his location, he's coming at you. He gives no Fs. His garden of Fs is completely barren. I mean, wow. So that's pretty cool. So now let's take a look, and this shows the size of the abominations. So they're fairly large. I mean, the bull maybe's not that big. I mean, still bigger than a normal guy. But, I mean, that bear is huge, dude. Oh my god. Like, those are some big models. So for $25 for 4 abominations that are fairly disgusting. I mean, let's face it. They're all 4 just gross. But they're really large models, too. I mean, big models. So $25 is probably worth it. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal at all. Yeah, I would definitely pay $25 for that. All right, next we've got the special guest box, Paulo Parentine. I know I'm gonna butcher that. I'm sorry. I know if I just know I'm gonna get hammered for that. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But anyway, it is a guest box. It wouldn't be a Zombicide game without some kind of guest box. and this one is no different. So with this expansion, you get 9 survivors sculpted by our guest sculptor here, and it's $20 for 9 survivors. That's actually not bad. I mean, it's a little over $2 a piece, so it's not great, but also it's more survivors. So if you're one of those many people that think that Zombicide is just a survivor side, so where Cool Mini or Not puts out as many survivors as they possibly can, without adding any real meat and potatoes to the game, then this is probably not an expansion that you're going to want. But if you're like me and you want all the survivors so that the choice is out there, and this is also a Kickstarter exclusive, so you're definitely going to want to pick that up now. The other side of that is a lot of these are pop culture references. I mean, he looks familiar. So, I mean, it's really up to you whether or not it's something you want to spend the extra money on, because a lot of these are definitely pop culture references and or sculpts. If anyone ever played the old Deadlands role-playing game, card game, I mean, just everything. Deadlands was everywhere. Really cool concept for a role-playing game. I believe that's where this comes from. So, which is really cool. The hucksters, or not hucksters, the hollowed. So, kind of neat. I dig it. So, anyway, it's really up to you whether or not you want it or not. For $20 for 9 more survivors, it's not a horrible deal. But if you want to be able to use those survivors, this is the only way you're going to be able to get them without paying a crazy price later. And odds are these guys are probably going to be pretty good survivors because they're in a guest box. So, yeah, you might want to pick those up now. So, anyway, let's move on to the next one. The next one is going to be the Long Dead Walkers. So the Long Dead Walkers was the first add-on that they brought out for people to purchase. I was kind of excited. I thought it was cool that they finally brought skeletons into Zombicide. And I love how they because it's Zombicide, it's zombies, they didn't actually call them skeletons. They just called them Long Dead Walkers. So for all intents and purposes, they work just like walkers. So they count as walkers, things like that. But their special rule is you can only kill them with melee weapons. Or in other words, they're immune to range weapons. They're still affected by things that destroy everything in the zone, like dynamite, things like that. But mainly melee weapons are the only way to destroy them or kill them. Now it's $20 for 15 miniatures, but there's only 3 unique sculpts. So that would be the difference between $20 for 15 miniatures versus $20 for 9 miniatures when it comes to the survivors. Survivors, one, they're paying for each individual sculpt to be made, sculpted, not just made, but sculpted. So that's where this is 3 sculptures that they paid to be made, and then they're just mass producing those sculptures. So I could see where you get more with the 15 versus the 9. So makes sense. But I think it's a cool concept. If you want the extra walkers, and you want an extra way of fighting certain walkers, then this pack is definitely going to be a pack for you. Is it worth $20? Yeah, probably. It probably is. And it comes with the Kickstarter exclusive tag as well. So if you think you might want them at some point, now's the time to pick them up. All right. And then last but not least, we couldn't have a pop culture monster like Cool Mini or Not without throwing out the biggest pop culture reference that's happening right now, which is Godzilla versus Kong, which is a movie that's coming out at the end of this month, as a matter of fact. So the fact that they brought them in as abominations is fantastic. Absolutely love. And they're huge, huge models. So they are gigantic in comparison to a normal miniature. So fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's $20 for the two of them, so $10 a piece. I don't know if it's going to be, if it's worth it. I'm not sure. All right, so just like the dragons from Green Horde or, that kind of thing, these are monstrous abominations. So what are the rules for these abominations? Well, Kong's is interesting. I'm not, very interesting. So what Kong does is when he's in a zone with their survivor, he picks up a survivor and holds them as his little plaything while he's in that zone. So he snatches up a survivor and disables them until he's been eliminated by dynamite. So you can only use dynamite to eliminate him. But I guess you just gotta hope that the guy that got snatched up isn't the one with the dynamite. And I guess killing him with dynamite doesn't kill the person in his hands, I guess. The way that's written. But now for the Crocosaur or Godzilla, his is even worse. You can only use dynamite to kill him, and when you use dynamite on him, he rolls a d6, and on a 4+, he survives the explosion, and he's still there. The only way to truly kill him without him getting that saving throw, is by expending 2 dynamite at the time that you try to kill him. That's insane. Absolutely insane. All right, so is it worth it? The $20 for the 2 large abominations. The Abominate or the Crocosaur and versus the Crocosaur. To be honest, I would pay $20 for that. I love the pop culture reference. I love the miniatures. The abilities are cool and different. I love it. $20 for 2 giant models. Sure. All right. I could see that. If you're trying to cut costs, this might be an expansion that you might want to pass on, though, because it's two large miniatures, 2 game-changing things or differences that isn't going to be missed if you don't have them. So, like I said, if you're just trying to cut costs on what you're going to spend money on, this might be one that you might want to run from. Now, to be honest, out of all the expansions / add-ons, I think the only 2 that are kind of must-haves are the guns and gears for the steampunk stuff. I think that's going to be a must-have because you want the campaign information. The campaign stuff is just too good. And then, of course, it's steampunk. So, if you're not a steampunk fan, it might be something you'll pass on. But the game mechanics that it brings, and the cool interaction with the tiles and things like that is kind of cool. So I don't know. To me, it's worth it. The other thing is the Running Wild expansion is also a must-have in my opinion, because of the new mechanic that it brings to the game. So those are just my opinions. That's pretty much it for this video. If you like what you've seen and you want to see more, hit the like button and join the Hive by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll see you on a video soon. Bye-bye.